Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andy Holt, and I'm with Outdoor University. I'm the crazy guy with the tent on the end down there. And what that represents is for the last 18 years, I've been taking technicians camping, installers, and service. I have two separate classes because, as y'all know, it's two different cultures, two different kind of mindsets. And we go to the woods. Sorry for my voice. We go to the woods and we talk customer service stuff. And I know that sounds real unusual when a guy says, "Hey, boss, send me to this class." And what's it all about? Well, it's communications class, and he wants me to bring a pillow, a sleeping bag, and my fishing pole. And that's required gear at our place. But anyway, so we've been doing that a long time, and the reason I do it like that is because if you ever become a trainer, you'll realize the importance of the comfort of the audience, right? So the saying is that your mind will only absorb what your butt can endure. So being in a comfortable place will aid the learning curve. So seats are kind of comfortable. It's a late afternoon, so here we go. We'll see what we can do. Thanks for coming. Everybody enjoying their time so far? Who's new here? First year. Excellent. Excellent. Welcome. This is really a cool place. Fix your customer first, then fix their system. So I started in 1978 in our family business, and I quickly found out that we could fix the unit and the customer just, okay, kind of no big wow. No, back then we didn't have Facebook or 5-star reviews or anything like that. They would handwrite notes in, right? And then that'll happen these days. And one thing I want you to know, who's ever seen a customer service letter at your shop pinned up, right? You'll see those. What you've never seen is a customer that says, "Dear Tommy, thanks for sending Willie out. When he pulled that Simpson meter out, I was blown away. His amp probe looked like it was calibrated correctly. In fact, even his screwdrivers didn't have a nick, and his truck was so clean." They never say that, do they? Ron Smith taught me this years and years ago, God bless his soul. Customers will never, ever compliment your technical skills. They compliment how you made them feel while you were doing those skills. Does that make sense? That's what this is all about. And, we start off with mom and dad telling us, don't talk to strangers. Now, how's that work in our business? Knock on the door, the lady says hi, and you're like, can't talk. So learning how to talk to people, being comfortable in an unknown environment is something you have to do. You guys that are dog guys, if you're nervous around a dog, what happens? The dog turns aggressive, right? And of course, we don't speak dog. He doesn't speak English, so he just has a feeling, right? Nonverbal feeling. Y'all know the difference between verbal and nonverbal communication? Which one's more important? Nonverbal. If you've ever been on the receiving end, Andy, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. Anybody been on the receiving end of that one, or have you had to admonish somebody like that? So my job is to bring to light the importance of your technical competence, okay? Because I'm technical. I love technical. I've been in the business 44 years. We're all about technical. But what I notice is a lot of technical people struggle communicating with a customer, right? And we'll talk about that. If y'all have questions about that later, I'll have a little bit of time to bring some of that stuff up, if you'd like, and maybe we can troubleshoot some situations. I don't know. But anyway, fix the customer first. And what I did was I wrote down some text so I wouldn't forget what to say, and I put some tips in there too. And if you guys want this PDF, I think it's going to be available for download. If not, let me know or give me your email address. I'll make sure you get it. But anyway, I'll go through this. And what I'm saying is adopt the perspective that your customer and approach everything from their point of view. think of your customer's point of view. You can't go wrong when you do service or install thinking about what a customer might be thinking about, okay? Because did you realize this fact that your average customer has never purchased a replacement system? You thought about that? Did you even know that? Your average customer has not purchased a replacement system. And if you doubt me, start asking them. When I was in sales at our company, I love to ask people that. Well, Mr. Jones, when's the last time you replaced a system? You ever bought one? No, Andy, I haven't. So what's he saying? I'm getting ready to spend a lot of money on something I've never spent money on. So are they going to be nervous? Are they going to be on edge? Are they going to be looking for any slick? Right? So got to stay away from all that. But if you think from their point of view, look through their eyes, you really can't go wrong. So I talk about a service call. So what I'm going to do is try to, as best I can, from the anatomy of a service call, fill in some of the blanks, and then more conversational. I'm not really comfortable doing it like this. I'm usually sitting around a campfire in the chair just with you, and we're having conversations about different subjects, important subjects. But anyway, the foundation of an excellent service call is laid when the customer makes the initial phone call, right? So the tip is pick up the phone quick. If you call someplace and it rings 8, 10, 12 times, what is your immediate thought? I need service and they're not picking up. Are you happy already, or is it already starting to go this way? Didn't even talk to them yet. So get in the habit of picking up that phone within 2 rings if you can. Within 2 rings, if possible. Okay? It's really important. But when being properly attended to, whether in person or over the phone, is something that we all highly appreciate. Again, think of yourself as a consumer. Establish a strategy for answering the phone in a professional manner. There's people that will teach you this stuff, right? How to answer the phone. Do you know that you can answer the phone a certain way and book X amount of calls, and answer it a different way and book a whole lot more calls? There's different ways to answer the phone. And by the way, how much does it cost y'all in advertising to make the phone ring? Not an existing customer. I'm talking about somebody who, not even referred. I'm talking about your yellow page. That dates me. Your internet leads. I may be the oldest guy in here. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, those types of things you got to pay attention to. Where am I at? Answer the phone in a professional manner. It serves as the initial impression that your customer forms, right? If that falls short at that stage, sometimes the customer says, no, thank you. Let me call somebody else. Okay, so this particular thing, I can't underestimate how important that is. And the tip on that is there's experts in our industry who can guide you in enhancing that. There's people who just train on phone etiquette, how to answer the phone. But anyway, it's really important to your success. I learned this phrase a long time ago, begin with the end in mind. Anytime you start something, begin it with, what's the end of this look like, right? How do I want this to turn out? Okay, so what I mean is, and again, I'm in a technician mindset now, okay? Is this a new customer? What's the call type? Is it a warranty call? One of my pet peeves, technicians excessively talking on rental property to the renter. Oh, you got a piece of junk, lady, you know, blah, 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 and you're telling this, oh, okay, I do, and the next thing you know, boss is calling you. What in the world did you say? Because the landlord, the owner, anybody besides me been there? But you got to coach the guys, right? You got to coach them before that happens so they know how to act. For instance, if it's a new customer, and I doubt that many of y'all do this, I preach it, go into new customer welcome mode in your mind. I mean, you realize that check that they write to your company, in part, some of that goes to you too, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, I tore off a little piece. But if you can relate the fact that that customer handed me a check, another way to look at a check is a certificate of appreciation. Be it a paycheck or a customer just giving you an invoice. Do unhappy people pay their bills? Typically not. So doing the right thing often gets you paid on time too. It's a very good strategy. Happy people pay people, and they pay you on time, okay? But anyway, and this is, again, a good example, if you know you're going on a new customer, go into a new personality mode, okay? Personally express your gratitude for choosing the company. Inquire about how they learned about your services, okay? And you're aiming to install the belief that they made the right choice, right? Thank you for calling our company. You know, and one of the best ways I've seen it done is to say something like this, like even on the greeting at the door, you know, Mrs. Jones, you could have called a lot of companies here. You called our company, and we thank you. And for me and my family personally, I get to write your name on my timesheet this week, and I thank you. Think about it that level. That level. Gratitude, gratitude. Unexpressed gratitude conveys the opposite. Think about that one. That's a heavy one. Unexpressed gratitude conveys the opposite. Somebody opens the door for you, you walk through, don't say anything. What are they to think? Jerk. Punk. You know, whatever. But get in a habit of expressing gratitude. And if you don't have anything to be grateful for, get quiet somewhere and just think. And if you have to, you know, if you have to go so far as, Andy, I've had guys like this, I don't know what to be grateful for. I said, look, who made your boots? You like your boots? Be grateful for whoever made the boots. Start there. You got a nice truck. Wow, good engineering. Love those engines. Start there. Thank you, Lord, beautiful sun day. There's no end to gratitude. People like being around people that have gratitude. And if you really, truly have that, your nonverbal communication is going to come through. I appreciate you calling our company. I really do. You could have called. How many people in your towns could they have called? Think about the randomness of that. New customer welcome mode. And another example I've seen is some of the companies I work with, they'll have a little bag with a calendar, coffee cup, magnet, notepad, newsletter, things like that. Service agreement brochures. Does that make sense? And all you got to do is say, hey, we got a little welcome wagon kit here for you. Oh, thank you. They may throw it all away. Doesn't matter. You're showing gratitude. You're showing gratitude. Okay, and again, some of this is basic stuff, but I just want to make sure. Call the customer beforehand. How many of y'all have gone to a call? Yeah, they're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. You show up, they ain't there. You're getting home later that day because of that, aren't you? Most likely. Call before you go. Make sure you call. Because what can happen, they could call you at 7 a.m. and say, I got no heat. What can happen in 1 hour in somebody's life? I mean, yes. Miss Jones, on the way, I'm on the way, just getting ready to come. By the way, is showing up early, first call, a good thing? You're supposed to be there at 8, you show up at 7:30. Hey, I'm here early, lady. She'll cuss you out. I'm not ready. Why are you here? Look at my face. You know, I've been that guy too, thinking I was going to be helpful. Turned out to be not helpful. Now, you can call and ask permission. Okay, that's the gold nugget there. Call and ask, hey, Miss Jones, I'm running real early. Is it okay if I come by early? Yes or no? Okay? But that ranks way up there in customer service. But call before, and your customer will experience an immediate reassurance that, okay, now my problem, they're on the way to solve this problem I've got. And see, we don't stress about no heat calls. Personally, do you at your own homes? We don't even know what that feels like because we'll fix it. But if you've had a computer problem you don't know how to fix, or your watch broke or something else, you know what you mean. You had to rely on somebody. And when you call and they don't come or they don't answer the phone, all of a sudden you're like, good gosh, I got this huge problem and nobody cares. So that's really important. But anyway, the tip here, maintain cheerful tone while you're interacting with your customer on the phone. And actually, I teach smile while you're talking to them on the phone. You know, people can hear a smile. That sounds weird. They can hear a smile. So think about that one tonight. But anyway, the whole idea is to give them reassurance that you call the right guys. Good tone, and nobody wants to hear a crabby, monotone voice. you know, hey, Miss Jones, I'm on the way to, you know, I'm on the way, Miss Jones. She's like, oh, gosh, who's coming? Who's coming? Versus, hey, good morning, Miss Jones. This is Andy with Holt Service Company. You're my first call this morning. Good morning. You know, I'm on the way. I mean, just something simple like that. Even if it's outside your personality, go into acting mode if you have to. But just amp it up. Remember, they're paying for your future hopes and dreams, those people. The Krabbies, the cat lady, whoever you're working with today. They're helping you get to where you need to go. Is that true? They really are. Treat them that way. Treat them that way. At Outdoor University, this is the very first thing I ask my students to write down, is that top phrase. So please look at that, and I want you to adopt it, because it's true. It's very true. We're not in the HVAC business. We're in the people business. We just happen to turn wrenches on air conditioning. That's a foundational statement. Has anybody got any comments on that? Do you agree with it? Have you heard something like that? Anything? Something like it? Okay, good. Good, good. And I don't claim any originality. That's actually morphed from Truett Cathy from Chick-fil-A. My son-in-law runs a Chick-fil-A in San Diego for the last 17 years, so I've been privy to some of the stuff they do. And during their onboarding, when they bring new people in, back then, Mr. Cathy, the president at the time, he's passed now, but he would say, welcome, welcome, welcome to Chick-fil-A. He's about 4 foot nothing, he's a little guy. Welcome to Chick-fil-A, we're so glad you're here. You know, new people. He said, the first thing I want to tell y'all is we're not in the chicken business, we're in the people business. We just happen to sell chicken. And that's how he said it. Now he did $2 billion that year. That's a lot of chicken. But he didn't care about that. He cared about the heart of the people. And if you didn't get that, you need to kind of keep going. You know, we love you, but you're not our guy. So that's what happens. Okay? But that is a foundational statement. If you're going to build a big building, you better have a good foundation. If you're going to be a good service technician, installer, or service to the public, insert your industry on that and fill in the rest. It's all the same. Right? We're not in the audio visual business. You're in the people business. Got the audience of one back here, right? That's right. All right, let's talk about this one. This is a pet peeve. You're late. How come you can't be on time? In all the service work I've done, the only call I can guarantee is the first call, right? Because how long does a no-cool call take? You're there at 8 o'clock. When are you going to be done, guys? Dispatchers think they know. Sorry. Don't piss off our dispatchers. But I'm saying, you know what I mean? Hey, because they have averages. Hey, man, everybody else takes about an hour. Why does it take you so long? Meanwhile, your ticket's 3 times everybody else's. You're more thorough. You got better customer engagement. You know, would you rather take 7 calls a day or 3? 2. Good answer. Good answer. That's a better answer. Excuse me. But anyway, the first call of the day is the only call, and I say often, nothing's guaranteed. Can be to be punctual. Timeliness is crucial when addressing customers' needs, and if you're late, you can expect to encounter somebody who's kind of pissed off already, right? First promise I made, I'll be there at 8. I don't show up at 8, and I didn't call. What are they to think? I called another hack. You know, I called another, you know, Larry's eating and cheating again, you know, that company. So we don't like those guys. But anyway, you're behind even before you begin. And a long day begins with a pissed off first call, right? I mean, it just doesn't seem to get better. You know, you drop something on your foot or vacuum pump oil needs change, and you're just everything, and it's just crazy. But anyway, here's the tip. And this is what I taught my 3 daughters, because, you know, they need to be home on time. So I told them, the minute you know you're a minute late, you call. The minute you know you're going to be 1 minute late, call. Is that professional? Is that showing gratitude, respect for a customer? It does. It does. How about those trucks? Okay, and when I'm talking about customer service, why in the heck would I talk about how your truck looks? Nonverbal communication, perception, right? But anyway, your truck plays a significant role in delivering excellent customer service. Ensure that your truck and your tools are well organized for kind of quick, swift access. With quicker access to tools and parts, you can elevate customer service by expediting the process of getting their system back online. We had 8 service techs at our family business when I left. And often early on, I was bounced around from one call to the next with one tech to the next. This guy had all his relays over here. This guy had a box of them over here on this bin. This guy, where's the wire nuts? And they're all mixed up. And the other guy had them all color-coded. It's crazy. Any of you guys done any work like that, where you're working with different guys and there's no standardization? So consider standardizing in the name of customer service. Have you ever gone to look for your truck and got pissed off because you couldn't find something? Yeah. Does that transfer to the customer? In some ways it does. In some ways it does. But getting their system back online because you had that relay, you restocked your truck because you used one yesterday, you said, man, I got to get another relay. And you've got the relay instead of 25-mile one-way run to go get one. Got the job on. You're getting to your next customer you haven't even met yet quicker. And my big thing, get home, dads. Get home. There's a whole thing. I could have done a whole class on what I call the 24-hour man. And I'll give you the highlights. If work is good and your home life sucks, what does that equal? Suck. It equals suck. And flip them around. If your home life is like great, but work sucks, suck. That equals suck. So when I'm dealing with bosses, sometimes I ask them, I say, do you know your guys? You know, the kids? Is that guy a baseball coach? I'll ask them all the time. I think that guy coaches football, doesn't he? Oh, hell, I don't know. I said, I know you don't know. I don't either. But what if he does? What importance is it to bring a new man on if he's involved, if he's a family man in particular, and is a coach, needs to get off 4 o'clock on Thursdays? Is that possible? Could we work with, if we knew that up front, could we work with that? Yeah, we could. We could. I've got one guy, when he brings on a new man, he says, you like to sleep in the mornings? Are you an early guy? And the guy's, because you want to answer the way you think the boss wants to hear. So if somebody asks you that, are you a morning guy or you like to sleep in? There's no wrong answer.
I'd probably say
Would you like to start at 10 in the morning instead of 8?
Nah, I'd do 8.
Okay, but he gives the guys the choice. Would you want to work 4 days a week or 5?
5.
Okay. He asked him that. So that's kind of not all companies can do that. The smaller you are, the harder that is to pull off. But when you start getting 6, 7, 8 technicians, those things become possible. Some of your technicians love to work weekends. Believe it. They love to work weekends. And other technicians would love to be home on the weekends. Find out who that is. Assign them. Put them in a place they're happy, because they're going to deliver happier service. Okay? But this is a real big one. If you make an appointment with me and you don't call or show up, you've automatically disrespected my time. Expect me to say something. I will. I just want to get it out, You're 10 minutes late. I respect my time. Let's get to it. Anyway, talking about your truck again. Sure, everything's good and neat. And then tip, here's another thing. When I do ride-alongs, I see this all the time. Technician parks the truck and then starts filling out his ticket in the driveway. Don't do that. That lady is looking out the window. They are waiting. They are right there looking, and you're sitting there going like this, and God help you if you're on the phone with your dispatcher. Pull up short. Finish your phone call off that site. and then come on in. When you put that thing in park, boom, 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 get out, grab your bag, booties, whatever you do, get your butt to that door that quick. What message are we sending there? Ready to go. Let's get this fixed. You know, you're a fire extinguisher to customers' problems. Shh, you're there to do that, right? So don't be a slow, I don't like slow firemen, man. Get to it. Put my fire out, man. Remember I said that earlier, begin with the end in mind. This is a really another big lesson. Your customer is part of the system. Okay, we talk about static pressure and throw and mixed air conditions and enthalpy and all that stuff. We never talk about her, the customer. And she is part of the system. If your system, I'm a measure quick trainer too, but if your system, you got green flags, everything's dialed in perfect, and that customer's like, I'm not comfortable. Oh, how come? Because I get cold when I sit right here in this chair. And then you sit, okay, and you go sit in the chair and look up and look at that 12x6 blowing right on her, heat pump. What's the mixed air condition by the time it comes 6 or 8 feet down to her chair? Cold. It's cold. What's the discharge temperature of your heat pump at the grill? Air temperature. I told you this was a tough class in the afternoon. Come on, guys. What's your discharge temperature? Now, what are you looking for? Huh? 86. That'd be chilly. You're healthy at 98.6, right? You put your hand to 86, how does it feel? How about 95? That's why the lady's cold. I solve more problems by sitting there and going, oh, hell, look at that. No wonder. And change the grill. Or get up there and if it's a metal grill, get your needle nose in there and just readjust the dampers a little bit. But the customer's part of the system. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. And I talked about this earlier. Many of us were raised with don't talk to strangers by our parents. Initiating conversations with customers can be challenging for some. Many technicians who excel technically find dissatisfaction somewhat in their jobs due to the interactions with their customers. There's a lot of great residential technicians that tapped out and wanted to become commercial. Why? Just less, you don't really have to comb your hair that much, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You don't, it's just not as, we don't have to be as, what's the word I'm looking for? Cognizant. I love that word. To be aware, right? My surroundings. It's another pet peeve when a guy walks in and he's just completely oblivious to the situation. And we can get into some doozies, right? Give you an example. You're supposed to follow protocol. You're supposed to greet your customer. And I'm not making fun of any of this. It's all important. It's for illustration. We had a no-cool call one time in Columbus, Georgia. Pulled up, and there's cars everywhere. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what the heck? Knock on the door. Hey, it's Andy with Holt Service. And as soon as the lady opened doors, was super quiet in there and crying. The kid committed suicide. And the family's there. And the air went out. So how did I modify that call? Let me tell you about our maintenance program. I've got a really Remy Halo to keep those tears clean. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not that guy. I got in, fixed it, and got the hell out of there. Didn't even ask them to pay. I didn't even bring that up. I was like, the office is going to take care of this. I'm making the call. I'm out here. This is what I did. And they came out, and the preacher came out. Hey, I appreciate you doing that, man. In other words, appreciate you not even being part of the grieving. We didn't hardly know you were there. But y'all have had situations, maybe not like that. That one's almost as bad as it can get. But it'll be similar if you show up and their bulldog just died. Okay? And if you're not a dog guy, go on. Just a bulldog, it's a dog lady. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And sometimes customers will, and I'm going off script a little bit because this is important. People will sometimes ask you, especially in the South, where do you go to church? Y'all ever had that question? I'm not making any of this up. I hope you guys are. Okay. Where do you go to church? You know, like that. Or more recently, who'd you vote for? A lady in Columbus, Georgia is right next to Auburn University, so you can imagine. Go over to Auburn. This was one of my students. He was over there, and I told him, I teach my students how to handle political situations, right? And he called up, he goes, Mr. Andy, this lady just threw me out of the house. I said, what happened? I said, what happened, man? He said, well, she's an Auburn, some political professor or whatever, and she was just drilling me about who I voted for, and I told her I voted for Trump, and she got all over my ass, you know, and threw me out of the house. And I said, well, you didn't answer it right, you know? She just wanted to know who you voted for. And so I went, based on that call, I tell people, say, if you ever get confronted that way, you say, look, voting is a real individual thing in our country, and I'm so glad we all have a choice. And I turn on my heels and walk away. That's how I answer that. You know, put your own cut on it, but keep out of those situations. You know, you're not, you know, unless you're on a political committee, it's really risky to even go either side of that. We're not there to do that. We're not there to give our opinions about that. We're there to fix an air conditioning system with a customer's smile on their face where they write me a check. That's what I'm there for. And that's all I'm there for. Okay? How many of y'all know who Ron Smith is? Now, he passed away not too long ago. He's a legend in our business. He put a book out called HVAC Spells Wealth. It's a great book, and he taught me a whole lot as a young guy. But I used this earlier. He's the one that came up with the comment. That's why I want to give him all the credit. Customers never compliment our technical skills. They only compliment how we made them feel. So, you know, some of y'all in your mind, you're like, hell, I didn't get in the air conditioning business to be Dr. Phil. You know, why do I got to diagnose this customer? You know, this one's got this kind of psychological problem, or this one. You don't have to go that deep. You know how most of y'all screw up? You don't smile. You don't smile. When you greet your customer, smile. I mean, not the Garfield smile that looks weird, you know, but a good smile. Good morning. That's it. Good morning. But I'm telling you, it's like pulling freaking teeth for some of these guys. It's like they, you know, I don't want to go off color, but it's just like they're, you know, they're mad. But they're not mad. It's what do they call it? SBF. You know what that stands? Or RBF. Thank you. Everybody know what that is? Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Don't be that guy. I had a guy that came through my classes told me this today. He said, I started doing that and everything changed for me. I'm telling you, if you take that one tip away, start smiling, and practice here. There's a lot of people y'all don't know here, right? Go up to them. Hey, man, how you doing? Eye contact while you're touching the hands. That's another thing that you'll see. A lot of people shake hands and don't look. Don't trust somebody. Don't look in the eye. Isn't that true? But we do it all the time. Some of y'all shake hands. I had a guy crush my hand, you know, out there. Okay, hi, guy. Who, you know, and they say, have a firm grip. Well, you can actually break somebody's bone. Some of y'all, you know. And the idea is just match their grip. Unless it's a wet salmon, you know, from, not that one, or mostly in the male side. So we want to maybe dab that one, or, you know, I'm not asking you to cross a line or do anything uncomfortable, but be respectful to everybody. Doesn't matter who they are. Flavor, color, what they like, who they love, it doesn't matter. We're here to fix some HVAC problems and to do it and make you happy. That's all we're here to do. So don't read more into it than there is. But also don't leave out the important things. Because if you smile, the world what? Smiles back. It does. I mean, practice that. You guys that don't smile much, start smiling and watch how people react to you approaching them and smiling. They can't help it. They're going to freaking melt. They're going to be happier. They're going to be more receptive. But if I come up and say, I'm Andy, I'm here to fix your furnace. I'm like, okay, maybe you can or not, man, but dude, you're freaking me out. You know, I mean, I'm from Realville. Y'all ever been there? It's a beautiful place, man. Everything's real. And you just deal with reality. Not what you think it should be, not what your professor told you it should be, not what your mama told you it's going to be like. It's what's right here. This is real. Stay in Realville. It's a beautiful place. It's not crowded, unfortunately. It's not. And I have fun in the crazy too, but oh my gosh. Place more importance on your soft skill training, okay? Learning to speak to people and learning to speak in public is something that you can get better at, okay? You can get better. I don't care where you're at, you can get better at. And the other thing is, how many of y'all would be nervous standing right here right now talking to this crowd? Okay, but if I had you, the guys that raised their hands, if I had you come up here and tell me about something, I don't know, maybe you're a motocross guy, or maybe, you know, you're the family guy. Could you stand up here for 5 minutes and tell us about your love of your life, whatever it is, with no notes? You don't have, it comes right from here. And when you have confidence and knowledge, confidence, it gives technical, it increases your competence. Does that make sense? As we're going through Measure Quick training, I see guys that are like, oh my God, especially old school, you know, oh, why am I doing this? Why didn't I do this? But as I see the competence grow, their confidence grows. My average student is 26 years old. That's my world. You know, for the last 20 years, that's the group I work with mostly. And they often lack a lot of confidence because they're new. How confident were y'all when you saw a T87 for the first time? Got 5 wires on it, big deal, right? First time you saw it, you went, what is that? How do you do that? I don't know what that does. Oh my gosh. Yeah, do y'all know what a T87 is? Damn. Gilligan's Island? I mean, no. I'm 64, so it's Honeywell's round gold thermostat. That was the standard for 50 years. I don't know how many years. By the way, here's another little upgrade. It's extra, no charge. Start offering your vision impaired thermostats. You have a lot of customers who would jump on those. Anybody got any experience with those? They're just big numbers. You do? Did your customer love it? That's something your competition can't or won't do. Always think of things they can't or won't do. And if you're thinking, man, we got customers that can't see. Hell, there's a lot of people in here that can't see without glasses, obviously. But by offering that, does that show that you have care and concern for your customer base? You don't know the name of the person who's going to benefit from this, but you know they're out there. And now you know there's a solution. So Google up, not in my class, but Google up after this class, seeing impaired thermostats, and you'll see there's a slew of options for that. Customers go looking for them, and if they ask you, hey, do you have a bigger thermostat or one that's backlit? Right, telltale sign, got an old thermostat with a flashlight on top of it in the hallway. What is that telling you? Backlit thermostat, right? I could really help this lady out. Or if she's 4 foot nothing and the thermostat's up here, what can you do? Sell her a ladder. That's what I'm talking about. That's badass. I like that. Thank you. That was good. But anyway, place more importance on your soft skills. It'll reward you with more job satisfaction. And what I mean by that is a term I call psychic income. And what the hell is that? Psychic income. You can't go to the bank with it. You can't really save it up. You can't transfer it to somebody. It's just for you. And it's when, thank you for fixing that unit. Thank you for coming to last night. You guys, some of y'all have been running calls in minus whatever, right, last few weeks. And you had some people, you freaking saved their property, and, you know, if they stayed in that house, saved their lives. Don't underestimate that. Customers don't. You guys are heroes. But job satisfaction, the psychic income that you get, well, let me put it this way. If you're working in a job and you don't have that kind of satisfaction, are you apt to stay around? Or, I love this industry? Probably not. If you aren't fed at the soul level, it's hard to take a long trip on something like that. Okay, so get in the habit of fixing a customer, a kind word to them. You know, and they share what kind of stories with y'all? Everything. Sometimes the best service call is sitting down for 3 to 4 minutes and having a cup of coffee with a grandma lady because you look like her grandson who died, maybe. You're not going to hear all that story, but can you spend a few minutes with me, young man? You're done. You're like, Rodney's going to kick my butt if I don't get out of here, you know? But if the shop knew what you were doing, they'd be all over it going, do that, man. That's what we're here for, because we're in the what business? People business. People business. People business. Money takes care of itself after you take care of people. There's a check valve there, I'm telling you. If you don't take care of people, you'll get temporary money. You will not get wealth building money, ever. Especially if you're in a small town. If you're in a big town, you can churn. Screw the neighborhood, yeah, that's all right, we're not going back there anyway, you know. But live in a small town and try that. You can't go to Walmart without somebody, you know, or you're oh, here comes their such and such. You ever had to dodge somebody? You know, I'm going to change aisles. It's like, dang. So anyway, Realville calling. But anyway, more job satisfaction, that's what I'm all about, because if somebody really likes what they're doing, they're apt to really go the extra mile, and you don't have to do anything but just let them run, man. They know how to take care of the customer. But anyway, many times this is the missing link from being a 3 or 4 star technician to a 5-star technician. And what do I mean by that? Again, you could be Mr. Technical Competent, but your soft skills don't ever get you a 5-star. In fact, you don't even want to ask for one. You're scared what they might say. Or you're like, man, that's a bunch of BS. Who reads reviews anyway? Does anybody believe that? I hope not. You know, 8, 10 years ago, I could get that. Reviews, whatever. How quick can a bad view go around the neighborhood, around the world? Like that. Like that. Okay. You know that was coming. Smile. Smile. And establish eye contact. Now, I'm not talking about the freak me out eye staring contact, right? That's not, Andy, because some guys will do this. What do you mean, Andy, like this? I said, no, you'll get slapped. I mean, come on, man. But it's just, whenever you're engaging with somebody, engage with them. That's all. It's no big deal. I mean, put it this way. If you make eye contact with your meter, don't you? You're looking at them. Try working your meter and going like this. Don't make eye contact with it. It's incomplete. That's the first time I ever said that. That's a pretty good one. But that's what I mean. If you're looking, y'all know what I mean on this stuff, I hope. I mean, but just, it's a reminder, but do it. And practice it here, okay? Great place to practice it here. You're meeting a bunch of strangers, practice your handshake, you know, good eye contact. And if you want to impress people here, ask them about them. Hey, where are you from? How long have you been in business? You know, what kind of challenges you guys have? Ask them questions. Don't tell them how good you are. You see what I mean? And guess what? They'll walk away from that going, that's a pretty cool cat. He cared about me. So you do the same thing with your customer. Nonverbal communication. The nonverbal communication that you put out is picked up instantly by dogs and customers. Realville. So be good to them dogs. Here's a tip. How does it make you feel when someone avoids eye contact during a greeting? Anybody? Anybody else got this problem like me? It's distrustful, disrespectful. Anybody else? I don't trust a man that don't look me in the eye. You know that. Uncle Fester will tell you that, right? And that's good advice. This is the extra tip. Always maintain eye contact while you're shaking hands. Don't break away until the hand's gone. Then you can resume normal operations. When you're shaking hands, it's kind of like this. He looked down at my hand first, by the way. I know, but that's okay. But you see what I mean? It's and you can even practice it with the young guys in the office, because a lot of those guys came from dad wasn't there to teach them. And a lot of times mom didn't go to a handshake class. I'm just saying realville. This is what we're dealing with. So any of you guys, anybody service managers here or owners? You ever get the daddy questions? Hey man, my wife thinks she's going off with some other guy. I don't know what to do. Hey man, my kid's got cancer. I'm scared. Hey man, you got 20 bucks for lunch? I mean, it can go that way. That's a training opportunity. On Monday, if a guy's asking for 20 bucks, what is that an opportunity for you to do? You ever heard of Dave Ramsey? Right? You ever, he's got cash flow problems. And in our industry, we have our income can go up and down with the season, right? But, as much as we don't want that to happen, it does happen. Why don't we do like the squirrels, right? Store it away. But a lot of guys weren't taught that. They get that big check, got to get them new wheels. Really? You don't have any money in your emergency fund and you want to spend $4,000 on some tires. Okay. And even when you say that back to them, they go, yeah, it doesn't sound right, does it? So you can help really build a guy and remove, what you're doing is you're removing the stress from his life. If you're showing him, say, look, let's plan this, get you a budget. And that may sound like, hey, we're in the air conditioning business, but you're really in the people business. And these people that work for you are people. So that's your business too. Andy, I don't care what they do at home. Really? Really? You don't care what they do at home? Some of y'all may believe that. I don't, because I know what happens at home affects me at work. And I really want his home life to be everything it can be. I want to support that. Everything. I don't care if he's single or married. I don't care what his home life is. As long as it's not, hey man, yeah, I run sports gambling thing at night, or, anyway, think of some kind of, something that would not be as healthy as it should be, and it's not sustainable, and it's something that a low information person would do. Y'all know this, use shoe covers, drop cloths, leave your workspace cleaner than you found it. Sometimes a customer, when you put your booties on, they'll say, oh, you don't need to do that, right? Don't do this. I saw this recently. The boss wants us to do it. That's what he said to the customer. And when I debriefed that call, when we got back in there, I said, the boss wants you to do it. Really? That's it? That's the only reason you put him on? So if he didn't tell you to do it, you're okay scrapping up her floor? Oh, no, Andy, I didn't mean that. Oh. But the boss made you do it. One thing I always do, and this happens all the time, when I walk in and you're getting ready to put your booties on, the customer says, oh, you don't need those. And I said, no, listen, your castle is your castle. I said, most of the time we have to put these on to protect my boots from the house. And they laugh. 100% of the time they laugh about that. But don't do that if you're walking in on a dirt floor. Okay, because that is true. You are protecting your boots from a cat lady's house. I mean, come on, you'll wear 2 boots. Please. And all, what can I say? All apologies to cat ladies of the world. God bless them. But they still need a good air system too. And what do we do about that urine smell? IAQ, man. We can bring fresh air in. Of course, your eyes are watering. She's like, I don't smell anything. Anything metal in your pockets corroding right in front of your eyes. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's stories from Realville. I should start a book, write a book. Be a good listener and eager to please people. Good listener. If the ladies complain about, like an old grandma lady, and she's like, yeah, I can't get my nephew over here to change these floodlights, even stuff like that. Go ding. Oh, we can change your floodlights, ma'am. No problem. Now, be careful before you say that, right? If it's 3 stories, if it's some architectural like my dumb did, oh, we can change those for you. I was showing the technician, oh, watch this. Turned out to be, any electricians here? Some of these fixtures have 6, 8 screws up top, and then you go another level to get to this, and then take that off. And I lost some screws on this thing, and I mean, it was bad. It went back together, but I wish I'd have never said, ma'am, can I be happy to change that light bulb for you? So if you get into that little help business, you'll get good at, nope, I ain't saying nothing on that one. And you probably shouldn't, because I'm not going to. If it's easy, I'll say it. But if it's not, I won't. But a lot of times we are substitutes for that grandson. Y'all heard that one. Am I making this up? Okay. So it's a lot more than turning wrenches. Carefully listen to your customer as they describe the issues with their system. Repeat back what you heard. I've had my pilot's license since 1988. Any other pilots in here? Okay. Bill, when ATC says, turn right 290, maintain 5,000, what do you say? Exactly the same thing, right? 290, 5,000. Alpha, Delta, Papa, whatever. You end up with your tail number. And if you don't repeat it back, they call him again. And if he repeats it back wrong, they say no. And he says it again, the air traffic control says it again, and you have to repeat it back. Why is that important in aviation? Guy's at 5,000 feet coming at me, and he wants me to be at 7,500, and I go, I like 5,000. Not good. Not good. But be a good listener. And here's a tip. Have you ever taken notes in front of a customer? Any of y'all do that? That is so smart. Write it down. Customer says back bedroom noisy, or well, maybe the grill's noisy. Blah, 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 blah. Write it down. Write it down. The good thing about a pen is you can only write down one word at a time, one letter at a time. So you are focused on what she just said, because you got to write it down. But if we leave it to our memory, how's some of y'all's memories? But anyway, it just ensures that we won't miss anything. And lets the customer know that you heard exactly what they said. And if they mention it, even though you might think, how's that important to you? If they mention it, it's important to them. So make it important to you. Customer satisfaction significantly increases when we successfully resolve the issue on our initial attempt. In other words, if we don't have a callback. Right? Because you can go from hero to 0 pretty quick in this world. I don't care what your reputation is at the shop. Everybody thinks you hung the moon. You're the super tech. You forgot to tighten the Schrader valve and it leaked and the gas is out. Rookie mistake, but it happens. Congratulations, you're human. Okay, so I give you that. But the customer's like, man, this guy came out here, it was working, now it's not working. Maintenance calls done incorrectly or that way. They hate those. Work great, and then 3 hours later, sealing's leaking, or capacitor didn't get put back wired correctly, and now you're looking at a compressor maybe, and that's a bad place to be. But thorough diagnostics, getting back to doing a full probe, full diagnostic, keeps you out of that hot water. We lose both credibility and revenue when we replace a faulty part to restore a system and move on to the next call without, doing our complete diagnostic. That's happened to most of y'all in here, right? Where you weren't as complete as you should have been, you went back and you found something else on the second visit. Okay, again, we're just being real here. And here's my tip on this section. Dedicate yourself to technical proficiency. Be technically competent. Because the bar's raised now, isn't it? It ain't beer can cold no more, guys. It's no 2.5-hour vacuums anymore. right? Think of this. I mean, this is relatively recent history. Guys that I grew up with, there is no freaking way they could tell me how many BTUs that machine was putting out, even if they had the formulas. They couldn't do it. And now what does the Measure Quick report give us? That and then some, right? Power. For God's sakes, it tells us how many pints per hour are coming out of the condensate drain. So the game has changed, and don't treat it like it's business as usual. It's not. In fact, you have a wonderful chance to take all that technical data and say, well, let me go through this for you, Miss Jones, line by line. That's not a good idea, right? And we're in, listen, if I said we live in a polite society, some of y'all would throw the BS flag on me. Okay, I get you. But when you're one-on-one with people, aren't they mostly polite? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Okay, so a polite person will say, like when you're telling them something, they'll look like bobblehead. You're telling them about how a reversing valve works, for God's sakes, if you get into that trouble. You know, and you're like, oh, it goes like this, and, you know, and that slides, and it actually goes in the air conditioning mode in the wintertime, Miss Jones. Isn't that cool? She's like, she's being polite by just shaking her head, but she didn't comprehend anything because you're not reading her body language, and you should know, if you go that technical, you screwed up. And when you start down a technical road, how hard is it to get out once you start? It's hard. So you want to, at Outdoor University, we have this little thing, we call something else. In other words, if we're going to communicate with a customer, what's another word for a contactor? Motor starter, switch, right? Mrs. Jones, during my diagnosis, I found that you have a bad electrical component. We call it a contactor. It's kind of like a switch. Anyway, for me, this is the phrase, this is the magic phrase. For me to complete my diagnosis, I will need to replace that component, and then I can complete my diagnosis. Did I put myself in a corner? Is that realville? Because you put the contactor on, did you know the motor was locked up? Well, hopefully you spun it. Hopefully. That's just age and skill coming in, right? Check the wind, you know, but you're not going to check the windings on a bad contactor initially, most of us. You're not going to, can you check the refrigerant? No contactor. You can see it has pressure, standing pressure. Okay, so you at least know there's something in it. Form of diagnosis. But if you push a Schrader and it went, oh boy, she got a bigger problem than contactor. And then we get to sell them a new machine. Maybe, right? I'm not that guy. I'm not going to teach you how to sell new machines. But you know, there's a time that we need to get into that mode. I got a whole other class on that. It's very, very. There's a fine line between being what's commonly called a white shirt technician. You know what I mean when I say that? I'll sell you. Everybody needs a Remy Halo. Everybody needs a, variable speed, blah blah blah. 3-ton variable speed on a 2-ton duct system. Everybody needs one of those, right? No, they don't. If you got techs like that, you need to pull them aside and make sure they're trained up well. And if they continue to do that after training, you got to kind of get rid of them. That's a what I would call what's a credibility issue. It's an integrity issue. And at our company, we hired slow and we fired fast. We hired slow because we wanted to make sure you were the right guy, the right fit. You had to actually talk to our technicians. Our technicians had to go thumbs up. You don't even know this. You meet the guys, we tell you, hey man, we want you to meet a couple of guys. And then we leave the room. Managers leave the room and they talk to you. And then I got one guy in there that reports back, says, yes or no, this guy's not going to work for us or with us. Because if a technician, when you got what I call new guy syndrome, when you bring on a new man, you ought to have a plan to bring him on. The first day of a new man, where does he go to? Does he know where to go to the bathroom? Does he know where to park his truck? What about lunch? I mean, all these things the first morning happen. What I like to see is one of y'all assigned to the new guy. Hey, man, I'm Andy. I'm going to show you around this morning. Maybe I'm just a tech. But welcome on board, blah, 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 blah. And then I also, at a meeting just like this, I'd bring him up and say, hey, man, introduce yourself. And he's talking to y'all. Y'all can ask him any questions you want or whatever. That's how we onboard. Because now he feels like he's part of the team. And I've had another guy who showed up for his first, he was an installer, wasn't service, showed up for his first day at 6 a.m., okay? First one there in the parking lot, wasn't supposed to be there at 6:30. First one there, boss shows up, the manager who didn't know this guy yet, walks right past him in the parking lot, didn't say anything. And then he said, well, once I saw the lights go on, I went ahead and walked in. So he walked in, and Tony greets the guy with, oh, you're a new effing guy. That's how he was greeted. Oh, you're a new effing guy. Okay, and then the mechanic he was assigned to came in, and the first thing he said was, where's your lunch? And the guy's like, hell, nobody told me I had to bring lunch. He said, we don't leave the job, so. I said, what happened? He said, well, I didn't eat lunch that day. I said, when you got home, how'd you tell your wife? This is what was important to me. What'd you tell your wife when you got home? You know what he said? I think I made a mistake. First day. First freaking day. I think I made a mistake. These guys aren't all that friendly, and they ain't me. Now, I will tell you the end of that story because I consult with these guys. New guy got saved. He's still with us. Other guy got fired. The manager got fired. Not just because of that, okay? Don't think we cut that fine of a, but that was a major boo-boo. And then now they have this new guy. They understand new guy syndrome because when somebody's new to you, there's a thing in psychology we call adaptive behavior. You ever notice that? Adaptive behavior. Everybody has it. In other words, to get a clear example, how do you talk on Sunday morning if you go to church? What kind of language do you use there? When you're in that environment, you adapt your behavior, right? It's normal. When a new technician meets or comes in and talks to the service manager, what kind of experience does he have? Oh, hell, I fixed it all. I've done everything. Give him, He's telling the person, he's adapted his behavior to what he thinks the service manager wants to hear. And he's on time for the first week or two, 3 weeks. And then the normal guy shows up. Where's Tony Monday morning? Y'all hear from him? Nope. And then that's the beginning of that. Because he's comfortable now, he's going back to his old behavior. He's not adapting to your behavior anymore. He's back to what he used to be. So then that's human nature. But you managers in particular don't really judge a guy initially, at least for a month, 3 weeks to a month. Because you're thinking about him, you're getting to know him, and he's doing the same thing. So there's a lot of things that are not going to be normal. Let it shake out. Let it shake out and settle out. Because you're going to have to work with, over time, what's left, is my point. Not the adaptation of me being a new guy. Hair's always combed, park my truck perfect, blah, blah, blah. Because it's not always going to be that way. Okay? What do we got? Okay. Great personality is valuable. It's great. Okay? But it can't compensate for a lack of technical skills. Except for if you got like 22-year-old Mr. Bubbly, right? All the lady customers love him. He don't know jack. He could step through the ceiling and go, oh, you okay? That's okay, right? And other people wig out, and he's such a nice young man. Some of y'all have had those comments, right? To your face. Who has been told in here, because I want to make sure, has anybody been told you remind me of my grandson? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Where's Andy from? Realville. I'm telling you, this stuff it matters. That's the whole thing for today, and thank you for coming. Because that's what I'm trying to push into your heart. we all have all this head knowledge. That don't mean crap unless it falls 8 inches down to your heart. That's where you start caring. Karen. That was extra. But you guys feel me? I mean, seriously. If it's not here, what wells out of here? That's the passion department. That's the I give a damn department. That's I'm gonna bust you right in the freaking mouth if you cross this line department. I'm standing for something. Right? So I really want you to think about that the head knowledge is great, but what's coming down here? What's coming down here? Because that's the lasting thing. That's the thing that gives you that psychic income, that you want. Even though today may not have been such a great day, you made that lady happy. And you may have been the only guy in her house until next year. So sometimes we work with shut-ins too, right? It's difficult. Some of these people do not see people. And it's a sad situation. But we can make it a little better. We can't solve everybody's problem. We can make it a little better. That's all. You didn't make the problem. You just made it a little better, not worse. So anyway, great personality is good, but if you can't fix it, that ain't good. You got to fix it. And you got to fix it with a personality. That's the difference often between commercial and residential, right? Residential is just a lot more. We're on stage all the time, which I like. I like for people to see how much I care. I think it's cool. I think it is cool. But make a commitment to continuous learning throughout your career, not only for the communication and relationship skills, but obviously the technical skills. That's why we're all here anyway. This is a technical conference. In fact, the only reason I'm here is because, I don't know, what it was 6, 8 years ago, I called Brian, and I didn't know him from Adam. I kept watching the videos and got hooked and fell in love with Kalos, thought it was just this magical company in Florida. Wow, I want to work there, What cool leaders, right? But have you talked to the people here? The employees at Kalos? Anybody? Pretty happy. I mean, they're pretty satisfied. Everything perfect here? No. But we strive for perfection. We try to make it better, right? So anyway, any questions on this? Be a good listener. And not the, yeah, lady, in your mind. Yeah, lady, come on. All right, I got to hurry up and go. All right, tired of hearing that, lady. Communicate at the customer's level. Dave Ramsey always said, put the cookies on the shelf where people can reach them. Love that phrase. It means a lot to me. But you got to communicate at their level. Okay? And so here's the tip. Communicate your diagnostic findings to the customer along with the corresponding repair pricing. I worked for Callahan Roach for years and years, and I worked with Help Start Profit Strategies, another flat rate company. I'm an expert at flat rate pricing, if you will. And one of the things about flat rate pricing that changed the whole dynamic with the customer is giving them an upfront firm price before I do a repair. Do y'all do that? It's great. You should do it every time. Tip is a thorough diagnostic will yield several legitimate issues with most systems. Normally when I check a system, and of course this is prior to Measure Quick, 3 to 5 problems. You could pick any system apart. Small things that can add up, okay? But often the customer can't do everything, so we need to know what's most important. In other words, we have to, if we've got 5 things, don't you rate them in importance? Here's what I would do. Or if you throw 5 things on the paper, the customer might say, which one should I do first? Or should I do them all? Right? If y'all have had those conversations. But anyway, the key is to prioritize the repair with the customer. Okay, tip. There's often times where a high repair bill and your customer has an older system, and that they might inquire about a new system, but you also may be helping them along with that information, okay? Not the, you got R22, lady, it's illegal and you need a new unit. That's a lie. Okay, that's a lie. So let's don't do that. But anyway, they might inquire about how much the systems are going for, okay? We all know this is impossible. Y'all get that question. How much the new system's going for? That's a tough one, isn't it? okay? But anyway, they want an off-the-hip answer and things like that. And this is one answer, and I'm glad we still have time for this. This is one good answer, and I did not come up with this. I wish I did, but one of my students did, because I asked a question to the class. I said, how do y'all handle that? And he goes, this is how I handle it. And this is what he said. Something similar to it is our customers are offered a choice of system efficiencies as well as, either air cleaning or purification options. I've seen customers choose the system they want, the options that they want, for between $180 and $240 a month. How much is the system? Don't know. Can you finance these things for 15 years? Yep. Low payments. But that right there is a winner, because your customer will try to, and I also do residential sales training, and the worst thing that can happen to us as salespeople is for y'all to say, don't get the inverter, those things suck. Or stay away from that programmable thermostat. We have all kind of problems. If Johnny tries to sell you that one, just tell him no. I've had to deal with that. That's hard to deal with. And I've also been the salesman on the call when I gave the price to the customer and the technician still happened to be there, and guess who they looked at? Not me. They looked at you to go, yeah, that's the one I'd go with. You guys have more credibility than you realize. In fact, I say it like this, there's nobody more credible in this industry than you guys. Credible technician is more credible than anybody. And I'll stand on that. Okay, finish well. Once you finish the repairs, conduct comprehensive system test before leaving to make sure it's all good. You provided your upfront quote for repair, so there shouldn't be a problem when it comes to do paperwork. Right? Any of y'all stress out when it comes to getting paid? I hope not. Often that's from low self-esteem, like, hey, well, you're worth it. You're worth it. You're worth it. So make sure you quote up front. Make sure to express your sincere thank you for choosing the company. Remember that cool greeting up front I had, and thanks for calling me and all that. You want to do the same thing as you leave. Thanks again for calling us. We really appreciate it. And mean it, again, with eye contact. Treat them with the same gratitude as if they treated you for a steak dinner, because they basically did. Because, again, they gave you a check, and a piece of that check goes into your bank account. That lady, that system, today. What you did goes, and that's your hopes and dreams account, if you have an account like that in your mind. But anyway, they take care of us first. Anyway, the ideal service call concludes with a satisfied customer, some kind of enhancement, maybe, and they payment. Happy customers pay bills. We've only got 3-4 minutes, something like that. Any questions at all? Thank you for letting me talk and have my way with you verbally. Sorry. Any questions? Yes.
So how do you express to your technicians that you want to know more about their personal life without actually asking them? Like you said, that sometimes they'll offer them information, but other times it'll be...
Could y'all hear that in the back?
You're struggling with something that you want to...
He said, how would you engage a customer to...
Customer technology.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, so an employee comes to you and they have a personal problem. You can tell they're struggling with something. So what's the question again?
So how do you reach that conversation without them actually offering? Sometimes the company will offer that information.
Well, you've got to notice they got a problem. How'd you notice it, first of all? Did they bring it up? Or?
Late to work.
Okay.
Shoveled or whatever it is.
Okay.
Many different tells.
It comes in different vectors. The idea is just sit down with the man and say, hey, man, what's up? Just a lot of things that end up really good begin with, hey, man, what's up? You okay? I mean, just start like that. Whatever door, allow him to open the door he wants to open. Don't you go, what's behind that door? You and your wife getting along okay? I saw her at the bowling alley with Sally and them crew drinking beers. Don't do that. You don't have, even if you have that knowledge, don't do it. But you have to be approachable. Remember I said Be a man that other men admire. Well, guys that are on the top of the heap tend to be great listeners. I'm talking about managers, owners, guys that really lead men. They listen, and they're not quick to get an answer. They want to get all the facts and then carefully give an answer. But with your people, if they know that you are open, that's a great thing. You'll have loyalty from customers that you can't buy if they know you got them, you got their back. This is a phrase I say, go out and make someone glad they met you today. Make someone glad they came across your path any way possible. Practice your smiling, practice your handshaking, practice your greetings. And I do wish you the best with your career. If you do some of this stuff, it'll be a little better. I can promise you that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. If you're willing, give this video a thumbs up and drop us a comment. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay updated with all of our future videos. And as a quick reminder, HVAC School isn't just a YouTube channel. Dive deeper with us at our main website, hvacrschool.com. Curious for more knowledge on the go? We've got you covered. Tune into the HVAC School podcast, available on all your favorite podcast apps. And while you're at it, join our thriving Facebook group. Also, don't miss out on our free mobile applications available for both iPhone and Android. We're all about community, for techs, by techs.